Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zeng here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder. Now obviously today's episode is a bit different because as you can tell, it's not just the battle screen anymore. I was able to get an overlay thanks to Draco Lord Z9 on Twitter. Really awesome guy, was willing to help me out for free, and we're basically going to have a bunch of designs made. This is just kind of a test overlay that we'll be doing. Obviously you do see the face cam is involved and my bottom screen is there as well, so that way you can actually see all my movesets, which a lot of you guys often ask for. So I figured this would be another way to add more interest to the videos. I know a bunch of people have asked, and this way I think it'll be a bit more entertaining and more insightful in terms of you can see all my movesets, which I think is pretty important for this VGC series. So leave any feedback as you want. I am going to be working with him to kind of edit things up, but I really do like it. Huge shout outs to him for making it for me. So let's just jump right into today's episode. I'm still using Landers T, Heatran, Kangaskhan, Hydreigon, Bisharp, and Sylveon, as you see on the screen, but I am going to be moving to new Pokemon soon, so if you have any Pokemon you want to see, let me know. My opponent's going to be Susanna from Finland with a rating of 1801. That's really good, and it's a pretty crazy team given how high her rating is. So she's got a team of Charizard, Raichu, Talonflame, Azumarill, Typhlosion, and Aurorus. So that's just a really crazy team in general. Of course, you saw my rating there was 1828 in the beginning. That's good enough for top 10 in the US, but obviously I'm aiming for 1900, so we'll be making that push there. But this team is just crazy. I mean, 3 fire types with Charizard, Talonflame, and the Typhlosion. Typhlosion I've never really seen in VGC. I actually used it at Worlds in 2008, back when I was only 10 years old. Didn't work out too well, but it kind of revolved around Icy Wind and then Eruption. So I'm sure he's got Eruption on that Typhlosion. Raichu there, no doubt in my mind, is there to fake out. But I don't know, it's just an interesting team. Talonflame might have a Tailwind, which could be very problematic. But based off his team, I think he's really weak to Heatran, actually. The Azumarill gives it issue, but if he sets up Sun for me using Charizard, then Heatran can take full advantage of that. Let's see. I can't allow the Azumarill to get a Belly Drum off. You know what, I'm going to lead with Kangaskhan, Hydreigon, with Heatran in the back. Definitely not going to want to bring Sylveon in this match, given that he's got so many fire types. It's either Landorus or Bisharp. Bisharp helps because even if he sets up Tailwind, I get the priority Sucker Punch. But Landorus, of course, just helps out against his entire team. So this is kind of a tough call. Landorus can't really take those fire type attacks, though I guess Bisharp can't either. So the main issue is Landorus doesn't have Protect, while Bisharp does, because Landorus is Choice Banded. So I think I'm going to go with the Bisharp. Yeah, I'm going to go with Bisharp. This might be a mistake, but we'll see. But, you know, my opponent, very high rating, 1800s, from Finland nonetheless, so really cool to see a girl that's so highly rated, and we'll see how this battle goes. But like I said, that's a very interesting team to see so high up in the ladder. So, I'm going to lead with Kangaskhan, Hydreigon. I think that's a pretty safe lead for me, as my opponent here is going to go for Raichu and Talonflame. Okay, so that's not a bad lead matchup here. An Air Balloon from that Raichu too. Which is an item we see often. Honestly, I'm expecting the Fake Out onto... if I were her, I'm guessing that Talonflame has Tailwind. That would be my best bet. But Raichu's not really a threat, so... Let's see. Would I rather knock out Raichu or Talonflame? You know what, I'm just gonna Mega Evolve and double it into it with the Draco Meteor and a Double Edge. If Raichu goes for the Fake Out, then the Talonflame's just going to faint. Talonflame, I'm guessing is going to go for the Tailwind, but both of my opponent's Pokemon are going to stay in here, so let's see. Of course, I don't carry a Fake Out on this Kangaskhan. You saw I had Protect, Double Edge, Sucker Punch, Power Up Punch. Raichu does go for the Fake Out, no Protect from Talonflame. Fakes out Hydreigon, good play, as Talonflame goes for the Will-O-Wisp, actually. Wow, that's interesting to see. So I wasn't anticipating that, but that's a great move from my opponent. Let's see if Double Edge will do enough, since it's still really powerful, but bulky Talonflame there, and of course I am burned, so my attacks aren't doing nearly as much. So that's gonna put Kangaskhan down. You know, decent trade-off there. Not the worst, but not the best either. But it is good to know that the Talonflame has Will-O-Wisp. Probably could have played a bit safer, but I really wasn't anticipating that. A great move from my opponent, though, there. And now I'm thinking I can just Double Edge Raichu and Dark Pulse Talonflame, to be quite honest. Is there anything really bad with that? Let's see. I've got Bisharp and Heatran in the back. Or I could protect Kangaskhan here, or even switch it out to Heatran. You know what? I'm just gonna double edge the Raichu and Dark Pulse the Talonflame here. Now Raichu's actually gonna switch out though, so whatever's coming in is gonna take a double edge. Azumarill's coming in, probably to was predicting a Dragon type there, but like I wasn't gonna go for that. Just because I knew my opponent potentially had a Azumarill in the back. Brave Bird onto the Kangaskhan, hangs on with 33 HP, which is awesome. And Talonflame actually knocks itself out because it has Life Orb and Recoil, so this Azumarill's going to take a Double Edge and a Dark Pulse, and I'm going to get a free switch into the whatever I want in the back. So this is a great turn for me, basically. Dark Pulse does a fair amount there. Double Edge here, let's see how much it does, even though Kangaskhan is burned. It's going to bring it down to its Citrus Berry, which is good. Basically eliminating a Belly Drum setup. It actually can still set up Belly Drum if it wants to. And Kang's here is going to faint from the burn, but I'll take that trade-off any day. However, he's going to be able to bring in Raichu for free and get another Fake Out off, but that's perfectly fine with me. I think I'm going to bring in Bisharp here. Yep, Raichu does come back in. So, obvious play here is to Fake Out Bisharp and just play rough the Hydreigon. But he might also want to double target my Bisharp with the Fake Out and play rough. So this is kind of a tricky position because Raichu often carries Encore. I'm not sure if I want to protect here with Bisharp because my opponent can just Encore me the following turn. In fact, I'm very tempted to switch out Bisharp into Heatran, predicting the double target there, but I'm not sure if my opponent is going to go for that play. There's no doubt in my mind Fake Out's coming out, but if you were my opponent, you'd Fake Out Bisharp. The question is who Azumarill really wants to target here. Definitely a tricky position. Oh. You know what? I think she's gonna play rough Hydreigon. I'm gonna Iron Head Azumarill and switch out to Tran. I may really regret this play, though. I was very close to switching Bisharp right out to Heatran and going for the Draco, or the Dark Pulse onto Raichu, but decided to play it a bit safer. Let's see, Fake Out comes out. Targets Bisharp, yeah. Who does Azumarill target? Bisharp flinches, play rough. Oh, onto the Bisharp. Nice play by my opponent there, but Bisharp hangs on with 26 HP. That's awesome. That's really, really great, actually. Was not anticipating that. I could actually just Sucker Punch and Heat Wave here. That was a clutch survival on Bisharp's end. I really thought Azumarill was going to take it out, but that means I can get a Sucker Punch before Azumarill goes for the potential Aqua Jet. And I'm going to be able to get a Heat Wave off. Heatran can take a Water-type attack, but if you're my opponent, you're probably going to want to target down Bisharp. And I am going to just get the Sucker Punch off, which is great. I think Heat Wave can knock it out. Let's see. I'm going to take Life Orb Recoil. Aqua Jet, yep, does come out. Targeting Heatran, okay. As Raichu goes for the Electro Web. I've not seen that move really ever in VGC, but that's actually really clutch as it brings my Heatran speed down. And let's see, Heat Wave does connect with both Pokemon there. Hopefully it knocks out this Azumarill. Yes, it does, and does a lot to Raichu. So that's perfect. Now, this is a really intense game. It's basically coming down to both my opponent and my opponent's last one. Of course, I've got Hydreigon in the back. Heatran here is pretty nice because it's bulky and has leftovers. So I'm going to bring out Scarf Hydreigon. Let's see what my opponent's last Pokemon is. The moment of truth. I'd guess Charizard. Oh, but it's going to be Aurorus. Well, this is interesting. Let's see. To be quite honest, I don't know very much about Aurora, so I'm actually looking it up right now just to really see what it can do. I know it was used at one point by Dewey Ha. It's Rock and Ice, of course. And it is really slow. It's, making me wish I had Flash Cannon on this. Does it get any ground type attacks is the question. I don't think so. I'm very tempted to just... let's see. weak to ground, but Draco still does more. I'm thinking of just Draco-ing Auroras and Heat Waving, honestly. Yeah, you know I'm gonna go for that play. Okay, so, of course, because I'm Scarfed, I'm gonna be able to outspeed it. Let's see how much damage it does here. Okay, a fair amount. As Raichu just goes for the T-Bolt onto Hydreigon. Okay. Oh, Hyper Voice coming out. Whoa. Totally forgot that that was even a thing, that it could get Hyper Voice, but it's good to learn. As Heat Wave. Okay, good. Connects with both. How much damage will it do? Ooh, picks up the double knockout. Perfect. So I'm going to be able to win this game, actually. Pretty intense battle. Obviously, I didn't know very much about the Auroras, but I knew I could outspeed it. I knew it probably couldn't one-hit KO my Heatran, and that worked out pretty well. But cool to see Hyper Voice on there. I just haven't seen that Pokemon really used much in VGC, other than there was a commentator Dewey Ha actually used it at a Premier Challenge and won with it a while back. Of course, it gets Refrigerate, which turns that Hyper Voice into the super effective Ice type, I believe. But pretty nice way to start off today's episode. Definitely a hectic battle. Raichu's always annoying to deal with. Obviously, the Will-O-Wisp onto Kangaskhan in the beginning was really intimidating as well. But managed it to close it out in the end. But it was very tense. And now my rating is 1843, which is obviously awesome. 57 points away from the 1900 goal that we're aiming for. I think the battle spot actually, the season ends in a couple of days, so hopefully I can hit that before, but otherwise, you know, we'll just have to reclimb the ladder. But yeah, this should be interesting. I do like the way the team functioned in the last battle. I think Scarf Hydreigon is actually fantastic. Mine is modest with not max speed, but it just helps out a lot against the format because you can outspeed common Pokemon like Thundurus, Landorus, Kangaskhan, etc. And the Surprise Draco Meteor can just help with chip damage, especially when I've got priority with the Bisharp, and Sylveon can, you know, get Hyper Voices off as well. So that worked out pretty well. Just gonna change the music for this second game. And yeah, I mean, I think it challenges a lot. This team is obviously very standard with the Pokemon it uses, but I think Hydreigon is a great check to a lot of the common Pokemon out there. Kangaskhan, Bisharp, and Sylveon, probably one of the more common trios you see nowadays, just because they match each other really well. Very common and very strong as well. So I figured I wanted to really try out Heatran and Landorus, and Heatran is really fantastic. You saw I was able to take attacks in that last game. Heat Wave still does so much damage as well, so it's got nice bulk. And the second opponent today is going to be a 1630 rated player from Japan. So my opponent here has got a team of Hydreigon, Cresselia, Kangaskhan, Amoonguss, Zapdos, and Mienshao. So a very standard team outside of the Mienshao, which isn't that rare, but it's still not exactly the most common Pokemon per se. You know, he's got the double fake out option, which is always scary. He's got a Rage Powder from the Amoonguss. He's got his own Hydreigon, which is interesting. But the Amoonguss is probably one of the more annoying things to deal with. I do notice, however, he doesn't have a way to really block my Intimidate. For example, no Bisharp on his team. So leading with Landorus here is actually kind of tempting. And Heatran's actually not bad against his team, bar an Earth Power from Hydreigon or fighting type attacks from the Mienshao. He's also pretty weak to Sylveon, now that I think about it. So it's very tempting here to go with Landorus Sylveon as my leads. With Hydreigon in the back, and Kangaskhan's great in this match too. Let's see. I'm probably going to want to keep Bisharp out this one, just because it's outsped by two of his Pokemon, or most of his team actually. Yeah, so I'm going to keep Bisharp out for sure. And this is kind of what I think about when I do team preview. You know, first I figure out which Pokemon I don't want to bring, so I think Bisharp's out for this one. Let's see. Sylveon is really good for beginning offensive pressure, I think. But I really think he's going to lead with the Kangaskhan. If I had to hedge my bets, he'd go with Kangaskhan and Amoonguss. Which I don't really have many answers to. That's slightly problematic. Let's see. Maybe I can lead with Heatran, my own Kangaskhan, or Heatran and Hydreigon. Or Landorus Hydreigon. You know what? I actually really like Landorus Hydreigon as a lead. Get the Intimidate off. Hydreigon outspeeds his entire team. Do I want Sylveon? I'm gonna bring Heatran. Ooh, it's between Kangaskhan and Sylveon. Alright, I went with Sylveon. I'm not sure if that was the best decision, but it gives me a better answer to the fighting types, and the Hydreigon too. Sylveon just switches into those better, so kind of went for the synergy, opting to not bring my Mega Evolution, but his team does annoy Kangaskhan. He's got the Rage Powder from Amoonguss, and Amoonguss often carries Rocky Helmet as well. Zapdos can Thunder Wave it, Hydreigon just get attacks off, so we'll see how this plays out, but I'm gonna go with my Hydreigon Landorus against his Mienshao, I think? And Zapdos, okay. So now I'm kind of wishing I led with my Sylveon, but that's not terrible either. I get the Intimidate off, which is obviously excellent. No doubt in my mind we're going to see a Fake Out, but Zapdos is probably going to want a Thunder Wave, and unfortunately I don't really have many great ways to stop the T-Wave. If I were him, I'd Thunder Wave the Hydreigon and Fake Out Landorus. Let's see. I do want to knock out this Mienshao immediately, though, because then Heatran has a pretty good time against my opponent. I'm thinking of actually switching out to Sylveon and Rock Sliding. You know what? I think I'm going to make that play. Sylveon doesn't mind being paralyzed because it's already slower than the majority of my opponent's team, and I don't want Hydreigon to get paralyzed. However, if Zapdos has HP Ice, I might be in some trouble, so I'm not sure if that was the best play. Fake Out does come out, targeting Landorus, yep. What does Zapdos do? Oh, goes for the Tailwind! Yikes. That is not a move I wanted to see, so that's really good for my opponent. But Sylveon coming out here is really good. He doesn't really have many answers to it. So I could just Rock Slide and Hyper Voice, to be quite honest. Though he might have HP Ice with the Zapdos. So I might want to switch out Landorus to, like, Heatran. You know what, yeah, I'm going to switch out to Heatran and go for the Hyper Voice. I don't want Landorus taking any damage. He is actually going to switch out Mienshao into Amoonguss, so good switch in there, but I get my Heatran in for free, which is great. Yeah, so probably should have Draco Meteor with Hydreigon in the beginning, but I wanted to play it a bit safer. But Heatran coming out here is pretty good. Let's see what Zapdos goes for. Oh, just goes for T-Bolt, so that indicates to me maybe it doesn't have HP Ice, as I am going to get a Hyper Voice off. And it does a lot of damage there. Specs Hyper Voice, so strong. Critical hit there, and it's not Citrus Berry Zapdos. Black Sludge Amoonguss too, which is interesting. I was expecting to see, like I said, the what I'm blanking out, or the Rocky Helmet, but good to know that it's Black Sludge. Also, him Thunderbolting there tells me I probably doesn't have HP Ice, which is good news for my Landorus, but now I kind of wish I Rock Slided. But however, that means I got a turn where I did basically assure that he didn't get a free switch into anything. Here he's probably tempted to Spore Heatran and just Thunderbolt Sylveon. You know what, I'm just going to let him Spore the Heatran, so I can burn my sleep turns immediately. I don't want to Protect here, because he can still outspeed and Spore me the following turn. And, you know, by him Spore... Oh, he actually Protects, which is even better, because now I can just Protect the next turn, so no complaints there. He goes for the Thunderbolt into Heatran, so I'm going to pick up a knockout here against the Zapdos with the Heat Wave and the Hyper Voice. Maybe I should have substituted there with Heatran, but I'm not going to get greedy. I actually take it out with a crit, so 4-3 my favor, and one last turn of Tailwind for my opponent. This is pretty close so far. I presume we're going to see a Kangaskhan here, but I'm not entirely sure just yet. I'm not too worried about Kangaskhan, given that I've got the Intimidate option, but if Kangaskhan gets a Power-Up Punch-Off, that would be bad. So let's see. It looks like Mienshao's coming back in, though. I'm perfectly fine with that. If I were him, I would just attack Heatran and Spore Sylveon, I think. Or he could Fake Out Heatran, Spore Sylveon, or Spore Heatran and Fake Out Sylveon. The Sylveon's obviously the threat for my opponent right now. I could Protect here with Heatran and just go for a Hyper Voice. You know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna burn his Tailwind first, because I know I can, and just Hyper Voice here. And if he doesn't Spore the Sylveon, then he's going to be in a lot of trouble. I'm expecting Spore, but, you know, in case he doesn't. Oh, Wide Guard actually comes out from the Mienshao. Excellent move from my opponent there. Forgot Mienshao even got that. I'm actually faster than him even with the Tailwind, as Spore goes into the Sylveon. Nice. Nice. So, wasn't anticipating that move, but that's really clutch for my opponent to have for sure. I think here we're going to see maybe a double target into the Heatran with a Fighting type attack and maybe something like Drain Punch and a Spore, which is obviously problematic. So my opponent's definitely got me in a bad position right now. I don't want anything coming in to take a Spore. I'm thinking maybe I can switch Heatran out, or switch Sylveon out to Landorus, get another Intimidate off, and Heat Wave, because I think Heatran can survive a fighting type attack after the Intimidate. But the question is whether I want to sub or Heat Wave. You know what? I'm actually going to sub and switch out Sylveon to Landorus. This way, Amoonguss can't Spore me, and I'll be able to attack through next turn, because Heatran's going to be hiding behind a substitute. We'll see how this plays out, but the Wide Guard was a clutch move on my opponent's end. Oh, he just goes for the high jump kick, though. That's bad. Will this knock it out? Oh, it will. Oh, that's bad. As he goes for the Sludge Bomb. Okay, that's good. That means Landorus, no poison, please. Actually, poison wouldn't be bad because he can't Spore me, so that's fine. But my opponent's definitely got me in a pickle here, as Landorus is going to take some poison damage. I don't think I played that really well. I don't think I should have let Heatran stay in. I just realized even had he just gone for the Drain Punch, I would have not been able to even set up a substitute, so I don't know what I was really thinking there. So the Wide Guard here is kind of obvious from the Mienshao. You know what? I'm gonna Draco Meteor it and U-turn it. Oh, this is bad. The Amoonguss is really causing my team a lot of trouble, giving me a lot of issue right now. I don't think I played it very well, given how my opponent had an Amoonguss, but my team is somewhat Amoonguss weak, which is problematic. There really wasn't much I could actually do against Mienshao and Amoonguss with Wide Guard. I think that's why Wide Guard's one of the best moves in the game right now, so a lot of Pokemon will get access to it and, just do fantastic, but we'll see what he goes for here. If he goes for the Wide Guard with... Oh, he just goes for Rage Powder, actually. Not good. But if he misses High Jump Kick, I can still be in this match. Of course, High Jump Kick's accuracy is somewhat shaky, but I'm gonna get the DM off here. Doesn't do that much. Will Choice Band... Oh, he goes for the Rock Slide instead of the High Jump Kick. That could save me, as long as it doesn't flinch here, and it doesn't. But if I just Earthquaked... At least I knock out a Amoonguss there, which is nice, but... This is a very difficult battle for me to end up winning, and I'm going to quickly grab my Charger since my DS is actually running out of power. Alright. See, I'm going to be able to get a switch into Sylveon, but... I'm guessing Kangaskhan's my opponent's last Pokemon, which is problematic. But we'll see. If it's not Kangaskhan, maybe it's still possible, but it's going to be... Yeah, it is Kangaskhan, so that's not good to see. Yeah, I don't think there's much I can even do at this point, which is really bad. Landorus being so weak is very problematic. I'm gonna switch out. Maybe if I can get like a double crit, I can still win, but I'm gonna switch out the Hydreigon out into Landorus to get the Intimidate off. And I am Scarfed, so I don't know. It's still possible to win, but I put myself in a really bad position. Moongus was kind of just sweeping through me there, which was bad. And I think that's kind of one of the weak points of this team. This team actually is very Amoonguss weak because I don't have any Lumberry users or any way to stop Taunt. Like, I used to have Thundurus, but this team doesn't have Taunt from the Thundurus, so let's see. I'm going to get the Intimidate off on both of his Pokemon at least, but I don't think it's going to really help me much right now. If my opponent's smart, he's just going to double up into the Landorus spot knowing that the Hydreigon was Choice Scarfed, but we'll see. High Jump Kick, oh, it does connect. Had it missed, maybe there was a window of opportunity. So maybe I can still rely on a miss here. Okay, if I can crit the Kangaskhan, or even flinch it with the Dark Pulse. He goes for the Ice Punch here, which is good, meaning Sylveon might be able to see the light of day, as it takes a whole lot of damage there. And it does take a turn of sleep here. I do see a way of winning. I can Helping Hand Draco Meteor the Kangaskhan and hope that his High Jump Kick misses Hydreigon. But I'd have to wake up with Sylveon, and he had to miss with high jump kick. Is there any other way to really win this, though? Like, alternatively, I could just Draco the Mienshao, but he's gonna target Hydreigon. And then Sylveon can't one-hit KO Kangaskhan. So I'm obviously gotta rely on crits here or a miss. Question is, what do I want to go for? And, you know, Sylveon had to wake up for the Helping Hand Draco meter to even get off. You know what? I'm just gonna go for that play. It's probably not expecting Helping Hand from Sylveon. Sylveon, wake up here. Oh, it's still asleep. Okay. Okay, I can still crit Draco, though, here. I can still crit it. Let's see. False. Oh! That was a crit! If he misses with Mienshao here, I win. Well, I'd have to hit another Draco. Come on, let's see, let's see, let's see. He goes for the Rock Slide! Oh! Oh my god. I can win! I'm just gonna Draco, and he's got a high jump kick. Now I can Hyper Voice because Helping Hand didn't work. Oh my god. Oh, but I missed! But he goes for another Rock Slide. What's going on? Sylveon hangs on, it wakes up, and he gets the Hyper Voice off. I'm gonna... Oh my gosh. Oh. Okay. Draco needs to connect here. Wow, that was the most clutch critical hit. And it connects. Wow, I end up winning that game. You know, I saw the win condition, I went for it, and it worked out. If anything, that's why you never give up in VGC, because if you have that small window of opportunity, you have to play for it. And I managed to steal a game I probably shouldn't have won in the end, but I thought my opponent's team matched up really well against mine. I'm sure he was afraid of missing high jump kick, but I think he had to go for that play. Had he just high jump kicked the Hydreigon and hit, he would have won, obviously. So instead, I'm going to end up winning in a very, very crazy set today. 2 awesome battles. That's probably going to put me over 1850, which is very awesome to see. So I'll probably be changing my team around for the next episode. Let me know what you might want to see. Of course, if you enjoyed the episode, please leave a like on this. If you like the overlay, definitely give me some feedback on it. I personally really, really like it. So thanks a lot once again. To the guy who made it, super, super appreciative, and you can check him out on Twitter. But now let's just quickly check the ranking. 1851, very nice. So that's it for today's episode, guys, and I'll see you next time. Peace.